Imagine this. You've just been served divorce papers. You're overwhelmed, underprepared, and financially strained. What happens if you miss your divorce court date? Picture yourself in this scenario. The stark reality of your marriage ending is sinking in. You've lived apart from your spouse for over a year, and now the official paperwork has landed in your hands. The weight of this life-altering situation feels immense. You're emotionally drained, your thoughts are scattered, and the financial burden of hiring a family law attorney seems out of reach. The court date looms in the distance like a dark cloud, and you feel the urge to retreat, to avoid the confrontation, the judgment, the finality of it all. It's a tempting thought to simply not show up, to let the chips fall where they may. But what are the consequences of such a decision? When you choose not to show up for your divorce court date, you risk losing any rights you once held. Now, that sounds like a pretty dire situation, doesn't it? But why is that? In the realm of divorce law, choosing not to attend your court date can lead to a series of unfavorable consequences. One such consequence is the possibility of the opposing side, that's your soon-to-be ex-spouse, asking the court to declare you in default. In legal terms, being declared in default means you've essentially forfeited your right to contest the case. Now, you might be thinking, surely there must be some prerequisites for this to happen. And you're absolutely right. The opposing side can't just waltz into the courtroom and declare you in default because you didn't show up. They must prove two key things: that the divorce papers were properly served to you, and that you were given a full 30 days to respond and prepare for the case. If they can provide proof of these two elements, the court is likely to set the case for a hearing on a default judgment. This basically means the court will make a decision on the case without your input or defense. It's a bit like playing a game of chess where your opponent makes all the moves for both sides. Not really a game you'd want to be part of, right? So, what rights are at risk here? Well, a lot of them. Your rights to marital property, any potential alimony, custody of children, and even the right to contest the divorce itself. All these can be lost if you're declared in default. And if the opposing party gets the judge to approve the divorce, it's highly unlikely you'll be able to ask the court for separation support, alimony, or equitable distribution. This is why it's so crucial to show up to your divorce court date, regardless of how overwhelming it may feel. Because once the judge's gavel falls, it may be too late to protect your rights. So the question stands, can you afford not to attend your divorce court date? A query that might feel like a punch in the gut, but it's a question that demands your attention. See, missing your court date isn't a simple matter of rescheduling a dentist appointment. It's a decision that can have far-reaching implications on your life, your rights, and your future. Let's revisit the key points we've discussed. By not showing up in court, you're essentially leaving your fate in someone else's hands. The opposing party can ask the court to find you in default. This means that they can set the case for a hearing on a default judgment. If they can prove that you were served papers and given 30 days to respond, you could lose any rights you had in the divorce proceedings. Now imagine a scale, with your rights on one side and the potential default judgment on the other. Not attending court tips that scale dangerously against you. And once that scale tips, it's not easy to tip it back. If the opposing party gets the judge to approve the divorce, the chances of you being allowed to ask the court for separation support, alimony, or equitable distribution are slim to none. But what does this all mean? It means that by not attending your divorce court date, you're not just risking losing your rights, you're also risking your financial stability, your shared assets, and even your peace of mind. So can you really afford not to attend your divorce court date? It's not just about putting an end to a chapter of your life. It's about ensuring you have a say in how that chapter ends and how the next one begins. It's about protecting your rights, your future, and your peace of mind. Remember, showing up to court isn't just about ending a marriage, it's about protecting your rights, your future, and your peace of mind.